Good day, friends. Good day, beautiful, unselfish humans. Of course, it's me. Whoever I am, it's still me. And you? Who the fuck are you? Did you ever ask yourself, who am I? Why am I like this? Why I'm so imperfect by watching all these babes on plastic TV and all these hunky-dory looking bodybuilders of the robotic realm? Why I cannot be like them? Or why do you want to be like them? Maybe you don't. So excuse my judgment, yet the way what is presented now on the public TV, it's very absurd and it's very disturbing, because we have a raw model that it's plastic, synthetic, brainless, heartless, selfish, greedy, legal. So what do we do? Do we still want to be like these freaks? Is this the only raw model that we can find in a history of human existence? Anyway, that was written in the history books that we are supposed to read. Why many of these previous so-called tyrannical existences, they always burn the books. They always burn the history books. They always burn scrolls of the truth. So, title for today: Transcending Your Own Selfishness. Meaning, selfishness is not a disease. Yet selfishness is something that you cannot get rid of it if you don't recognize that you are actually sick of it. You have to be sick of it to get rid of it, and you have to be sick of it to realize that you're really not good. Part of my book. Are you just an ignorant fool? One of the short conversations in the book starts like this. Short conversation with a street junkie, and how short or profitable it was. When you're seeing junkies around, doesn't matter, fear junkies, adrenaline junkies, politic, power junkies, sex junkies, any kind of addicts, what you see is common inside of them, and in their behavior. They are very, very selfish. They are selfish to the extreme that they would hurt every single being around them. They will do everything to get to their fix. They will pillage, they will steal, they will kill, they will lie. All the things that, let's say, decent human being is trying to not to be. Yet when you're watching, are these creatures, the junkies of all the kinds, are they really humans? Human is not like, do we have a heart, 2 lungs, 2 kidneys, and so on. These are not representations of a human being. The human being representation or characteristics are our actions, our valor, our really what we are worth in conscious level of our existence, what we are willing to do to be absolutely true, what we are willing to do to be unselfish. Are we willing to sacrifice our immediate comforts and highs for some very, very high achievement for somebody else. So, transcending selfishness, it's impossible for many creatures. They are walking on this planet because they don't want to recognize they are selfish at all. So step first is to recognize that you are selfish in the beginning. Then you have to go deeper and you recognize that you're selfish from what? Or you're selfish for what? That you only have to deserve it. Do you deserve to have fresh air? Do you deserve to have a place to live? Do you deserve to have a beautiful water, clean, not poisoned? Do you deserve to have 3 BMWs in the garage? See, I'm mixing because none of these are actually related with being selfish or not. You have to learn that selfishness is recognized. Where do you want to spend your energy? Are you willing to give a gram of your energy for others to get better? Are you willing to sacrifice your time, your efforts, your money, your, let's say, livelihood for others to get better? Do you ask anything in return when they take these efforts from you? And it can be done through very different aspects. It can be a suggestion, it can be help, it can be donation, it can be financial help, it can be a handshake. Yet we don't see none of these things as tools to transcend selfishness. So, junkies, addicts, are the most selfish creatures on this planet. Why? Because they just think about their own little immediate fix. And if you waking up in the morning to see your soap opera at 10 or 11, or drop everything else just to see your evening news at 7, you're absolutely junkie. You're an addict to a fake information stream. They will feed into your ego and try to give you a boost how well you live, considering some others who are in a war zone, or they are in a zone where completely wiped out with the bad weather. So, is this what you are? Can you get out of it? Well, first thing is, again, recognize that you are an addict to the bad weather to somebody else. But what's happening if this bad weather comes to you? What is the next kind of defensive mechanism of the junkies? They go into a victim mode. Look, God wanna punish us. This is not what I deserve. Of course that you deserve. Whatever is happening for you, you deserve. Yet how to change this level of deserving what's happening around you? It's for your realization that you has to come out of your I'm not so selfish. I'm selfish only to help my family and myself. Yet everybody else, who cares? So you're still selfish no matter what. And the people go to the extremes. That they will be selfish against their children. They will be selfish against their partner, their parents, their siblings, and so on. So how we can bring inequality? Well, transcend this selfishness is to bring inequality. Yet what if you don't want to? You'll probably die very, very selfish addict. And you'll die very, very, very soon. So what you going to do? Who's going to be blamed for your death? It'll be you, my dear friends. It'll be you. Because this is what it's coming. It's announced, it's pronounced, and it's acted upon it. Creator's command is absolutely irrevocable. You cannot complain anymore. You cannot write any kind of complaint letter to God's authorities to save you for the next couple of months. I'm not talking even years. You'll be fleeing, I'm talking you, the addicts, you'll be fleeing by millions. Different type of fleeing, but you'll not be here. You'll be basically start stealing from another addict who's a bit stronger than you, so he will cut your hands, ears, nose, and eventually your head. He cannot go for your heart because mostly of these addicts have no heart. I'm talking energetically. So, is there any other tool that you can think of how to transcend your selfishness? Maybe start giving yourself back to the natural and organic ways, which is direct communication with the Prime. Direct and absolutely one-way communication. You don't have intermediaries to help you deal with a Prime Creator. To help deal with your own selfishness, you don't need a third party involved there to tell you, oh, this is okay, and some of the actions that you did, it's not okay, but if you play victim, it could be okay for another couple of years. It's not anymore. It worked for many, many centuries. That always the victims were the ones who actually become the victors. And when the victors, who was once very, playful victim, becomes the one who is historian, or even better, a scientist, or even better, a politician, or even better, he becomes you. You who's ignorant against your transgressions. This is what we as a humanity brought upon us. We cannot even call ourselves humanity because we don't behave like one. Yes, we have human characteristics, but we are less human than a naive and imprisoned pig in the barn, in the cage. We are less human than a chicken who's giving you an egg once a day. Why? Because these chickens are not selfish. These pigs are not selfish. They know what they're going to give to humanity, or to people, to so-called humans. They will give all what they are. They will give the products they produce, they will give themselves, and they will give their blood, their meat, their flesh, their bones. And what you will do, you will devour them, you will cannibalize them. Not even thinking for a second how unselfish this was by these beautiful women, beautiful animals who gave themselves for your own short-term pleasure, for your lust for a steak, for a meat, for whatever you imagining in your absolutely stupid non-human heads that this is a way how we're supposed to live. Where this ends? It ends where it starts. Recognize that you are selfish. If you're a meat eater, you're absolutely selfish and, bottom line, a killer of a life. Every time you take a piece of meat in your mouth, or fish, or shrimp, or hamburger, you killed somebody else for your immediate pleasure. Yet you can be without this, but you have to learn to choose not to be a killer anymore. So, my dear friends, let's become humans more than we were ever before.